Most of the knowledge we gain today, a specific university degree, maybe a very niche job title, it's likely going to be obsolete in, what, 10 years? Technology is just moving so fast.
It is. That's not just a guess anymore. It's really the foundational truth of this era. This constant, relentless change is just making all our old ways of staying valuable.
Yep.
Well, irrelevant.
So it makes you ask the question, what is the one skill, the single non-obsolete skill that we can actually rely on? What keeps you valuable when this AI wave comes for everything else?
That skill, the indispensable one, is human agency.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we are unpacking a really critical source. It's called Unlocking Human Agency, your survival guide for the AI era. This is a deep dive into really the essence of professional survival.
Yeah, and our mission today is pretty straightforward. We're going to define what human agency actually is. We'll identify the psychological traps that, stop us from using it, and then we'll map out the actual skills you need to build it and multiply it with AI as a tool. We're basically turning this guide into your personal operating system for what's coming.
Okay, let's jump right in. We have to understand what agency truly means, because the source is very clear that it's so much deeper than just, being productive or just being busy.
Yeah, that's right. The core definition is actually simple, but it's really powerful. Human agency is the power to iterate without permission.
Iterate without permission. That phrase really stands out. It implies the sort of internal engine. It's like watching a small child learn how to walk. They fall, 100 times? They don't look around for a manager to sign off on them trying again. They try a different way instantly. That is pure iteration.
And the tragedy is that as we get older, our schools and our jobs, they actively train that instinct out of us. We're taught to wait for the grade, wait for the paycheck, wait for the manager's approval before we do anything.
We get really comfortable waiting for that list of instructions. We just wait for the rules.
Exactly. And success in this next decade means you have to unlearn all that conditioning. You have to find that childlike energy to just try things, test an idea, see if it works, adjust, and do it all again without asking for validation. That's the heart of agency.
But there are these huge psychological hurdles that block us. The source points to the first one, and it's a big one, the conformity trap.
The stats on this are pretty sobering. I mean, some studies suggest almost half of people are living in just complete conformity. They only do things that are popular or, what's considered normal in their field.
Which historically made a lot of sense. It was a survival instinct. A few thousand years ago, sticking with the group meant you didn't get eaten by a saber-toothed cat.
Right, safety in numbers.
But today, that instinct is completely backward. Conforming now means staying in a job that AI is already replacing. That template you're following is becoming obsolete in real time.
So fitting in isn't safe anymore. It's actually the biggest risk you could take because the path everyone else is on is the exact path technology is paving over.
Precisely. And that feeling of not being in control, that leads right into the second big psychological trap, learned helplessness.
This is such a classic idea from psychology.
Yeah.
The experiment where an animal is repeatedly shocked in a little cage, and eventually it just stops trying to get out, even when the door is wide open. It's built these invisible chains in its own mind.
And we do the exact same thing. Maybe you tried to launch a business and it just failed hard. Or you applied for 20 jobs and got nothing back. Those failures create this little voice in your head that says, see, it's no use trying.
Agency is the direct counter to that. It's waking up and realizing the door is open. Those chains are just in your head. Breaking them just means standing up and walking through that door, even if past failures tell you not to.
That takes a conscious effort, though. A huge one.
So if conformity is so dangerous, how does breaking out of it actually translate into, professional value right now?
High agency means building your own instructions, not waiting for a list of tasks.
Yeah, that's it. You go from being a consumer of instructions to a creator of value. Okay, so let's talk about the mindset you need to actually do that.
Right. This requires a fundamental shift from what the source calls the employee mindset, which, needs a task list, to the scientist mindset.
And I love this reframing because it changes your entire relationship with failure. A scientist doesn't get, sad when an experiment fails.
No, they don't take it personally.
They just say, okay, hypothesis incorrect. I now have data on what doesn't work. Failure is just feedback.
And that iterative loop is the engine of agency. The source lays out this 5-step process, which is basically treating your life like a lab. Step 1, pick a clear goal, something small like, I want to earn $100 online this month.
Step 2 is you make a guess, a hypothesis. For example, I think 5 LinkedIn posts about my expertise will get me a client.
Step 3, you test it. You actually write and publish the posts. Step 4, you check the data, not your feelings, but actual clicks, messages, engagement.
And then step 5, and this is key, change one thing. Maybe the topic was wrong, or maybe the time you posted was wrong. It's just this constant data-driven cycle.
And this is exactly where AI stops being a threat and becomes this massive multiplier for your agency.
Yes, exactly. If you have agency, AI is the most powerful lever you will ever have.
We should really stop thinking of AI as just a tool for boring tasks. It's more like a hyper-efficient internal team of analysts and writers that work at the speed of light. But you, the human, you're still the CEO. You set the vision. You provide the soul.
Low agency people are using this incredible resource to summarize emails or write a simple memo. They were completely wasting the machine.
Whereas high agency people are using it to build entire systems, to do research 10 times faster. They're creating things that used to take a whole team of people. They're compressing years of work into months.
You're basically scaling your own mind by a factor of 1,000 if you get this right.
Whoa. Yeah, imagine scaling that 10x research speed to 1 billion queries a second. That changes absolutely everything about how fast you can learn and act. That's real leverage.
And that potential is only unlocked if the human is providing the strategic direction and the will to try things.
So what's the biggest mistake people make when they first try to bring AI into this process?
They only use AI for simple tasks, wasting the chance to multiply their core vision.
Speaking of multiplying, let's get really specific. Let's break down the 5 human skills that power agency. The first one is computation.
Right. And computation is just processing data. We have to start by accepting that AI is just fundamentally better at this. It can read 1,000 books in a second. We can't.
So the human role isn't about speed, it's about steering. High agency is knowing how to use these tools to organize your messy thoughts, to analyze huge sets of data, but strategically.
It's basically prompt engineering for strategic thinking. The AI does the heavy lifting, which frees up your brain to focus only on interpretation and the final decision. A great prompt would be something like, here are 50 customer reviews. Find the top 3 complaints, their root cause, and suggest 3 cheap solutions we can implement this month. That's using AI as a strategy partner.
Okay, next is skill 2, transformation. This is about how fast you can turn an idea or that data you just analyzed into a real thing, a video, a website, a product.
The world pays you for what you build, not just what you think about. Agency demands that you move fast from thinking to making. Speed is everything here.
And then skills 3 and 4 are tied together, variation and selection.
Yeah, so variation is about generating a ton of ideas. If you have one idea and it fails, you feel like a failure.
Yeah.
But if you have 100 ideas, one of them is bound to work.
Right.
And the 99 failures don't matter. AI is amazing for this.
You can just ask it, give me 20 unique titles for a newsletter about client acquisition for writers, and you get them instantly, instant variety.
But then comes selection. That's the other side. It's the ability to look at those 20 titles and pick the winner. And this is a purely human skill. It comes from experience, from testing things, from building a strong gut feeling. AI can't really copy that critical judgment. Not yet.
That critical judgment takes time. Honestly, I still wrestle with selecting the best idea out of 100 variations myself. It requires real-world experience that an AI doesn't have.
It absolutely does. Selection is probably the hardest one to master because it depends entirely on all your messy, real-world data points.
And that brings us to skill 5, which is attention. This might be the foundation of everything. Your agency depends completely on where you decide to point your energy.
I mean, if you spend all day scrolling TikTok, you're not growing any agency. Your focus is just scattered and you're only consuming.
Right. Agency grows when you deliberately focus that mental spotlight of yours on solving one specific important problem. You have to direct your energy toward creating, not just absorbing.
So since AI handles computation and variation so well, why do you think selection is the hardest skill for a human to master?
Selection requires experience and a gut feeling developed only through continuous testing and doing.
Okay, so if we've got these skills, we need a safe place to practice them, right? Without betting the farm. The source calls this the agency gym.
And that gym is social media. It's the open internet. I mean, starting a business used to cost thousands of dollars. It was a huge risk. But now you can test an idea for free.
If you post a video and it gets 0 views, what did you lose? Nothing. But you got data. And if it works, you get audience, you get confidence. You build agency one small successful test at a time.
To really succeed in that gym, though, you need to build what the source calls a skill stack. This is about resisting that urge to specialize in one tiny thing and instead becoming more of a generalist. Agency really lives at the intersection of four different areas.
Right. First, you need what they call evergreen skills, things like writing, sales, marketing. Skills that were valuable 50 years ago and will be valuable 50 years from now.
Second is personal interests. This is just what you love, what you're curious about. This is what gives your work that human soul that an AI can't just copy.
Third is direct experience. All your past wins and, more importantly, your past failures. That's the data that builds your selection skill we were just talking about.
And fourth is just the internet. That's your free distribution machine to reach thousands of people instantly. So the skills to learn are writing, marketing, sales, and AI literacy. That's your 10x power tool.
But what about people who are just? They're truly stuck. A really common one is waiting for some kind of passion to show up before they start anything.
Yeah, waiting for passion is such a classic mistake. Passion doesn't come first. Passion comes after you start doing something and you start getting a little bit good at it. If you're lost, don't wait for passion. Just start moving away from what you hate. Hate your commute. Okay, research remote jobs. Movement creates clarity.
And the other big one is time. People feel like they don't have time, but this isn't about hustle culture, is it?
Not at all. Agency is about efficiency. It's about building smart systems. You don't need 8 hours a day. 30 minutes of real deep work using AI tools like, using Claude to summarize a dense article in 2 minutes. That's often enough to run your daily experiment.
To give everyone a concrete starting point, the source lays out a really simple 30-day jumpstart plan.
Yeah, it's a manageable 4-week thing.
Yeah.
So days 1 to 7, just find one thing you're curious about. Research 5 people who are already successful at it.
Days 8 through 14,
Mhm.
run a tiny experiment. Post one thing you learned about it on LinkedIn or X, just one.
Days 15 to 21, check the results. Look at the data. Did anyone like it? Did anyone comment? Use that feedback to change one small thing.
And then for the rest of the month, days 22 to 30. Keep posting, keep iterating. And this is critical. Reach out to one person in that field. Offer to help them for free, just to learn how they work.
So if someone is truly completely stuck, what's the single best first step to find some direction?
Stop waiting for passion. Instead, start moving away from what you dislike to gain immediate clarity.
That's really the core insight here, isn't it? The most successful people in the future are going to be the unreasonable ones, the ones who just don't wait for permission or validation to create something. They're the people with human agency.
You have everything you need to start right now. You've got the internet, you have these unbelievably powerful AI tools, and now you know the 5 skills.
The only thing left to do is take that first, probably messy, self-directed step.
So here's your challenge for this week. Pick one small topic you want to learn. Ask an AI tool to explain it to you like you're 10 years old. Then write one paragraph about it in your own words and share it somewhere online.
Right.
That simple act of creating and sharing, that's the birth of your agency. Don't wait for permission. Just start.